Sound to your mind.
Breathe. I stay quiet as I light on my loud light. Breathe. I balance diet, I'm just trying to get my pounds right. Breathe. I stay quiet as I light on my loud light. Breathe. I balance diet, I'm just trying to get my pounds right. Shouts all on my team, I need more than a mattress support in my dreams. Could grab a few Z's like I'm falling asleep, but I don't wanna wake for the morning. Grief, breathe, tears drop to the form in the sea. A broke heart, but it's worn in my sleeve. Never listened, I was warned in my teens, but I still skip school, I was taught in the streets. Ring back, don't call for police. Stand tall, don't fall for the beast. Got issues with trust, so I'm born to believe. We've been a victim of love and now we're caught in it deep. Breathe.
Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. The guy that divides opinion. Not on this channel, though. You know, again, you are free to come with your opinions on Bruno Fernandes. You know, and again, I do enjoy this debate because he's a player that, you know, whether I like it or not, he's hyped up by the media, you know, by the pundits, and obviously by a lot of Manchester United fans, you know. But I think what's important is that we do discuss this Bruno Fernandes. You know, people might call it an agenda. You know, I just call it some hard fact truths, whether people like it or not. And as always, guys, make sure you smash the like button. Big up to Babs One Diva. Big up to yourself each and every time. Big up to Foxy Danny as well for coming through. What's up with this? Big up to Foxy Danny. Big up to Christopher McGrath as well. And big up to my guy Fitz as well for coming through each and every time. And guys, as I said, make sure you do smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel. And get involved, guys. Let me hear your comments on Bruno Fernandes, because I know there's a lot of people out there that do rate Bruno Fernandes. And I think, you know what it is with me, yeah? You know, and I've said this a few times before, because I've seen some of the players that I've seen and they didn't get their flowers, i.e. Andy Cole. Big up to Coley. You know, if you guys didn't see the stream yesterday, make sure you guys check that. It's in chapters as well. But for me, like, Bruno Fernandes is just a player that I just don't rate, man. I just don't rate him. Like, I don't care what his numbers say, because numbers, as I keep saying, should never be the measuring stick to judge a player. And there's so many reasons why that should be the case. And the thing is with Bruno Fernandes is that people only tell you about Bruno's numbers, and his numbers, you know, for too long have got him out of conversations for his performances. Because, as I said, ever since he's come to the club, you know, I've never really seen Bruno put in more than 5 good performances, you know, and people don't want to talk about this. They just want to talk about his numbers, you know. And again, you see me, I come with the facts, you know, I come with the explanation as well. And there's not too many people that, from really what I see, want to do that. It's just that a lot of fans want to just jump on the bandwagon and just try and tell you stuff that they're getting from other people rather than doing their own research. And as I said, big up to Andy Coleman, because there was some thorough research done yesterday on him. And this is a guy that doesn't get his flowers for reasons that we know. But as I said, man, it's good to highlight these kind of things. So anyway, the reason why I'm doing this video, yeah, I'm calling out the Bruno fans. Again, if you're a Bruno fan, show yourself. Let me hear your responses, because, as I said, there's a lot of Bruno fans that think this guy can do no wrong, you know. And as I said, this is the guy that's been given literally everything at the club. You know, he can do no wrong. You know, I've never seen one player, yeah, that has literally been afforded, you know, the freedom of Old Trafford to go and do what he wants. You know, he's the captain, as I've said before. You know, he takes literally every set piece, penalties, free kicks, corners. He's the highest earner. He literally has Manchester United in the palm of his hands. How Man United have allowed this to happen for a player that is not that level, yeah, just doesn't make any sense to me. And as I said, like, I'm calling out the Bruno fans. I'm calling you out. So again, if you are a Bruno fan and you want to have your say, let me hear it in the comments and we'll discuss. So again, there was a video that I put out, I think it was last week, and it was in regards to Bruno and Rashford. So obviously both players for me that need to be moved on, and hoping at the end of the season this does happen, because you think of the amount of money that we're going to free up. People will say Bruno's experience is needed. For me, we've got players there that are experienced, you know, and again, if you bringing in players that are mid-20s, like let's say an Iliman Njai comes in, you know, he's like mid-20s. You know, Camavinga, who I want as well, he's 23, 24, is experienced. Sandro Tonali, the same. Murillo, I think, might be what, 23, 24. So again, I'm not buying this. We obviously do need experience, don't get me wrong, but this is why, you know, the likes of Harry Maguire still be in there, which is key for me. Mazraoui's experienced. You know, I'd love Casemiro to stay, but that's not happening. Even Cunha and Mbeumo, you know, they're two new signings. Haven't been at Man United obviously for long, but these guys still have experience as well. And we have got experience around the squad. So people that are saying Bruno needs to stay for his experience, I'm just not buying that. And I'm going to stick to what I'm saying about Bruno Fernandes, yeah? We need to move him on if it means getting better out of other players in the squad. Because as long as Bruno's here, don't expect, you know, the likes of Ahmad, the likes of Cunha, the likes of Azerxi, you know, don't expect these players, yeah, to thrive if Bruno stays at the club, because people don't want to see it, yeah. He takes away from a lot of other players, you know, and the football's meant to be a team game. If you want to get better out of other players, unfortunately, you've got to sacrifice a player that is arguably one of the biggest problems at the club. It's just that simple. And Karan says, without Bruno, we don't create nothing. I agree, he can go missing at times, but the players around him can pull their socks up too. When he plays for Portugal, he's class. You ever see him have a bad game? Again, big up to Karen with your comment, but this is not true. It's just simply not true. Yeah. Let's go on to the Portugal. Yeah. If you look at for Portugal, Bruno doesn't play class. Yeah. I'll tell you what Bruno does. Yeah. Bruno knows that at Portugal, he's got players there that are either better than him or are at the same level. So what Bruno does, rather than him try and play hero ball, he just plays it simple. At Manchester United, he's been given the reins to do what he wants. At Portugal, he's got Ronaldo, obviously, who's the captain and the icon. Yeah. You've got Vitinha, who's their best midfielder. You've also got players like Nuno Mendes at left back. You've got Rafael Leao, João Felix, Bernardo Silva. So he's got players there, yeah, that he can't really be taking the piss out of. That's basically what it comes down to. And at Manchester United, because he's one of the most longest serving players currently in the first team, and he's the captain, he's allowed to do what he wants. So again, Neves is another one. Big up Nick Fadley. So again, if you look at how he plays for Portugal, he plays a very simple game, which is what I would love him to do at Manchester United. Again, at Man United, he plays hero ball a lot of the time, and he's allowed to do that because he's been given the reins. And when people say he's the best player, he's this, he's that, yeah, read between the lines, yeah. Why do you think he's the best player? Because the media tell you? Because certain fans want you to believe it? because I tell you this now, yeah, I've watched more or less every Manchester United game since he's came to the club, and he has been the beneficiary of other players' work. Yeah, and don't worry, we are going to get into that because, again, when I hear that we don't create nothing, yeah, again, if you're saying we don't create nothing, you must be alluding that to Bruno Fernandes then. And creating chances the way that Bruno does, yeah, spamming long balls is not creativity, by the way. Yeah, Bruno loves to play the ball into space. Again, his best assist this season was the weight of pass, which allowed Mbeumo to finish first time against Manchester City. That was Bruno's best assist for me. But a lot of the time, the guy plays hero ball. And he's one of them players, yeah, that because he plays every minute of every game, it's not going to take fans too much, yeah, to say Bruno's had a good game. Because he's one of them players that he can just do one thing in the game and it clouds judgment. Yeah. So again, yeah, the pass to Cunha, big up to Z Gould. Yep, I agree with that. The pass to Cunha was good as well. Again, I give credit where credit's due. But all this we don't create and all this other stuff, and Bruno's good for Portugal is just simply, it's just too simple to say that. You know, we have to look at the reasons why he plays better for Portugal. And just look at the players he's got around him, yeah? And it's nothing to do with players being better or whatever. He just knows that he cannot afford to take the piss really for Portugal the way he does for Manchester United. And I reiterate, yeah, he's with Manchester United a lot more than he's with Portugal. So I'd much rather get Bruno Fernandes. I'd much rather get better out of the team if it meant removing Bruno Fernandes, because people don't want to see this, yeah? I guarantee you this now. Once Bruno goes, you see the direction we're going to go in. It's going to be an upward trend. I promise you. I promise you. Because more players are now going to feel like, well, Bruno's not there. Like we're gonna step into his shoes and show what we've got. Because unfortunately, that's not going to happen, yeah, as long as he's here, you know. And Bruno just isn't that guy. If we have a player that our team revolves around, we have had effective examples of that in the past. Big up to Fitz. Exactly. Like football should never work here, really, unless you've got a player like a Lionel Messi, a Neymar, a Ronaldinho, a Eden Hazard. Like they're the kind of players, a Lamine Yamal, a Pedri. They're the kind of players, yeah, where if you want to revolve your team around a player of that level, then I hear it. But no one can tell me that Bruno Fernandes puts in consistent performances. He doesn't. He just gets masked over by numbers. And I never thought I'll be in an era, yeah, where numbers would be the measuring stick to rate a player like this. You know? But again, people don't want to do the homework. They just want to jump on the bandwagon and tell you that Bruno's the best player, just like what Mamba's saying to me. So Bruno's your best player, guys. Just want to get proven right of your negative criticism of him. And again, Mamba, it's not about being proven right. Yeah, you're doing the prime example of what I'm discussing. Yeah, I think you're just saying that, yeah, because the media are telling you that he's the best player. Because when you deem someone as being the best player, yeah, what are we basing this on? Because you cannot be basing it on performances, because Bruno doesn't put in consistent performances. You're just basing it on the fact that the media are telling you that he's got good numbers, even though people don't want to delve into the numbers properly. You know, if you haven't seen my stream about the 16 assists, yeah, go and have a check how many open play assists he has. He has one less than Ryan Cherky. Yeah. So a lot of these assists come from set pieces. And again, a lot of these assists are not really assists, if we're being serious. Again, people don't want to have the conversation because it's just too easy to say that Bruno Fernandes is this, is that. Yeah, it's just that simple. And again, I'm someone that's not going to be swayed by the media, you know, and by lies, you know, because I watch the game properly and I won't be swayed by what the media, what pundits want to try and tell me. It's not going to happen, you know. So again, if you haven't seen my video on what I've discussed, there's a lot of insight into that, you know. So as I said, so I don't think he's the best player. I just think he's good at what he does. I prefer Cunha, to be honest. But again, what you have to realize, yeah, Karen, and again, I'm listening to what you're saying, yeah. But what you have to realize, yeah, when you're saying Bruno is good at what he does, yeah, what he does is to the detriment of the team. People need to understand this, yeah. There's people out there that think Bruno's playing as a 10. Go and look at Bruno Fernandes' average position. He's playing as a support striker. That's what he's doing. He might set up as a number 10, even though he's not a 10, but his average position is as a striker. This is what people don't want to tell you. So he's basically cheating, yeah, to just try and get numbers, because he knows in this era of football, if he gets numbers, it's going to keep him relevant with the fan base. That's all it is. He's got no interest really, you know, in playing his role in terms of helping the midfield. It's about him getting numbers, which is why you see him on every set piece. Yeah. Again, I didn't say that the ball to Cunha wasn't good. I've actually praised it. He the 2 assists that I've counted, which were good. If you want to say 3, the one to Sesko against I believe it was Burnley. Yeah. Again, they're what I call real assists. Half of the assists that he's got are not technically real assists. Even the assist, yeah, that they gave him for the one against Fulham, yeah, when he rolled Calvin Bassey. Again, that was a good bit of skill, yeah. Even though if you're Calvin Bassey, you're looking at it thinking, yeah, you can't be getting done by a guy that you're stronger than and quicker than. But nonetheless, it was good skill from Bruno. If you actually check, yeah, the goal that was scored, yeah, that's not technically assist for Bruno, because Sesko took the touch and then put it in the top corner. So the fact that Sesko didn't finish it first time, technically that's not really an assist. That was basically Sesko's touch and then Sesko putting it into the top corner. Again, people don't want to look at that. Tony Jones says, then who do you think Man United's best player is if you don't think it's Bruno? Bro, that's not even hard to answer. Our best player is Casemiro. Whether people like it or not, it's Casemiro. Casemiro is our best player. You know, he's our winner. He's our leader. He pops up in big moments. Yeah, and he's been consistent the whole season. He's been one of the best midfielders in the league this season. Again, people don't want to discuss it because there's a narrative that's been built up about Casemiro, about he's lost his legs, etc., without actually realizing there was a reason why Casemiro's been made to look the way he does, because of how Ruben Amorim and even Ten Hag before that was making him play. All of a sudden, Carrick comes in, sorts the midfield out, and you're seeing Casemiro for what he is. So again, Bruno ain't our best player. Like, he's not. The media are just telling you he's that because of numbers, you know? Yeah, listen, we can play this game. Where do you want to go with this, Z Gold? We can play this game all day. I've just said to you, man, 3 assists he's got that I will count as assists. Name me the others and we can discuss. Yeah, listen, let them assemble, man, because I'm here for it. And don't worry, I've got some other people to get onto as well. Big up to CR7 fan with a West Ham with a West Ham logo. Big up, man. That's a mad one. That's a mad one. Yeah, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. And I'm glad you said that, yeah, because we're gonna go through the numbers in a bit. Yeah, we're gonna go through numbers in a bit, and this is why we have to debunk this myth about Bruno's numbers. So don't worry, man. Don't worry about that. Let's go through this. Bruno is definitely Man United's best player. If you think he's the best player, then that's your opinion. For me, he's not. He's not our best player. Never heard of open play assist till now, yeah? Bruno slander won't be tolerated. Again, Emmanuel 20V says, never heard of open play assists till now. Emmanuel, I'd like to know what area you're from, yeah? Because that will tell me a lot. Because I just don't know what you're talking about here, man. You've never heard of open play assists. Go and check all the best players, yeah, that get assists, and just go and check the kind of assists they're getting. Again, I don't know how old you are, man, but that comment makes no sense. What do you mean you've never heard of open play assists? In your eyes, Emmanuel, yeah, it might look like that Bruno's got 16 assists and it looks good, yeah. But just go and have a check of how many of them are actual assists. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Guys, I'll get back to the comments afterwards, yeah. He's the oracle of football opinion. Yeah. Right, anyway. So listen, obviously my video I done the other day, yeah, and I'm gonna call out these names because these are some of the things that make me laugh, yeah. And this is why I thought I had to do this stream, yeah. So someone called Nehemiah. Nehemiah, I think I've got it right, yeah. Says, give me one game since Carrick has come that he has been at fault for a goal conceded. Right. Off the top of my head, Newcastle. Go and check the goal that Will Osula scored against United for the winner. Yeah. Go and check at that and see who's the one that was instrumental for giving the ball away. Yeah. If you don't want to check it, I'll tell you how it went. Bruno Fernandes tried to play a risky pass, yeah, rather than keep the ball simple. Yeah. He tried to play a risky pass into Cunha when the pass really wasn't on. Yeah. What he should have done is, as I said, keep the ball. And if he wanted to give Cunha the ball, at least play the ball to Cunha on his safe side. He plays the ball to Cunha at a pace where there was no chance of Cunha controlling the ball. He had two players closing him down. The gap that he was working with, yeah, wasn't on. Yeah. So Bruno forced the ball into Cunha. The ball gets turned over. Yeah. Which then sent Newcastle on the break. And if you actually check it, yeah, Bruno then tries to run back. And if you check it as well, all the criticism was given to Tyrell Malacia. Why was it given to Tyrell Malacia? It's just the same fact where they're looking at a certain player as the scapegoat, like the fan base have done for years. And if you actually check it, yeah, Bruno's the one that forced the ball and turned it over. He's also the one that gave away the penalty, which was a needless penalty, which Anthony Gordon converted. Yeah. So that's two. He done two in one game. So for every set piece or every goal that Bruno Fernandes scores, you better be sure that he's gonna be at fault for at least two or three, whether the other teams score from it. Then if you actually check it, yeah, Malacia got given the criticism. Why is that? We all know why that is. Yeah. Malacia hasn't played. Yeah. It's his first game. And yet people are just piling on Malacia because they do not want to pile on to Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Then if you actually watch the goal, not only did no one expect Will Osula, yeah, to hit the shot off of his weaker foot, great finish, no chance for Laments. If you actually check it, yeah, Harry Maguire actually goes past Malacia, yeah, and then it turns out that Malacia then had to deal with it because Harry Maguire then retreats into the box. And again, Malacia, if you actually think about it, actually done the right thing. He's showing him onto his weaker foot. And no one could have predicted that Will Osula is going to hit that shot. Osula hits the shot, he scores. But then again, who was the instigator for that counter-attack? Yes, it was your guy, Bruno Fernandes. So again, I had to call this out because it was a comment from someone called Nehemiah saying, give me one game since Carrick has come that he has been at fault for a goal conceded. I gave you two, the penalty and the goal that Newcastle scored the winner. Yeah. So let's move past that one. Bruno has had one bad game in like 5 months. So he's had one bad game in 5 months. One bad game in 5 months. A complete lie. Complete lie. It's a complete lie. So it ain't true. You know, 105 goals and 100 assists for a midfielder. Only Giggs and Rooney have done this. And you are concerned about a 10 losing the ball. If legends like Rooney, KDB, and Keane rate him. Yeah. Now let's dispel this myth. Yeah. For a start, KDB is an active player. Why does KDB rate Bruno Fernandes? Because KDB plays a lot of risky passes like Bruno. So again, he's gonna rate Bruno's thing because in a sense, they're kind of like a similar player. Kevin De Bruyne in his prime is just a better version of Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. And then you mention Wayne Rooney and Roy Keane. There's a reason why Wayne Rooney and Roy Keane are sitting in the studio, because they're failed managers. Yeah, they're failed managers. Now, why would I listen to Roy Keane tell me about a number 10? Why? What does Roy Keane know about what a number 10 is meant to be like? These are the questions that people don't want to answer. Yeah. Roy Keane was a great player for Manchester United, but his tactical analysis on games is just not there. Roy Keane don't know what's going on. So why would I listen to Roy Keane about technical players or about what a number 10 should be doing? Why would I listen to that? The same with Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, great player for Manchester United. Yeah. But there's a reason why these guys are in the studio. Wayne Rooney is also the same person that said that Neymar isn't a top player. So as immediately when Wayne Rooney says that, his opinion to me is invalid. Because if he doesn't think Neymar's a good player, then what is he? Because Neymar was better than Wayne Rooney. These are the questions that people don't want to answer. So again, when Nehemiah is telling me that the likes of Rooney, Keane, and KDB rate him, I couldn't give a toss if they rate him. What does that mean? What does that mean? I couldn't give a toss if they rate him. You know what I mean? Why would I take Wayne Rooney and Roy Keane, two guys that are in the studio that are probably being scripted what to say? Why would I take them seriously in regards to their opinions on what a number 10 should be? Wayne Rooney wasn't the standard bearer for a number 10. He was a very good number 10, by the way, but he's not the standard bearer. It's nonsense. It's nonsense, man. I'm not here to be listening to pundits that are either scripted or don't know what they're talking about. These guys don't watch the game. All they do is just see, oh, who got the goal, who got the assist, and they just base their opinion off of that. It's very obvious what's going on, you know, because they'll probably see the fact that he's got 16 assists, yeah, and think that he's been good the whole season. I'll tell you this now, he hasn't been good the whole season. I've watched every game. The majority of the games that Bruno plays in, he's been poor. But because he's on the set pieces, it masks over the performances. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? And to say that he's got 105 goals and 100 assists, why is that even a thing? I should think the thing is, if Bruno didn't have 105 goals and 100 assists, there would be a problem. He's been at Man United for 7 years. He plays literally every game, literally takes every set piece. So I should think that he should be on them kind of numbers. What are we going to start saying? What, he's better than Giggs and Rooney now? Is that what we're saying? Don't make any sense, man. Don't make any sense. Bruno wins games for us. Keep crying. Nehemiah. So Bruno wins games for us. Keep crying. Someone tell Nehemiah, yeah, whatever his name is, that football is a team game. What, do you think Bruno Fernandes wins games on his own? I'll tell you this now, he doesn't. He doesn't win games on his own. He doesn't. It's just impossible. Football's a team game. So again, all this talk about Bruno and he does this, he does that, is just simply not true. And don't worry, we are going to go through the stats in a minute. Let me just go through some of the comments and questions. And again, guys, I want to see your responses because I'm interested to see. I'll be honest, he's the scapegoat. He's the biggest problem according to most fans because he's doing the most. Again, utter nonsense. Utter nonsense, Karen. He isn't the biggest. He isn't the scapegoat. If you actually check it, yeah, other players are made the scapegoat for him. This is a running theme, yeah? If you look at the fact of someone like Marcus Rashford, yeah, Anthony Martial was the scapegoat for Rashford. So was Pogba. So was Jesse Lingard. These guys were the scapegoats. So was Jadon Sancho. You know, and I called this at the time. And then when those guys all got moved on, or they all left, this is why I said about Rashford. Rashford then had a problem because when he was given that big wage, the fan base were waiting for his downfall for reasons that we know, yeah? And as soon as they tried to push through Garnacho, this was the beginning of the end for Rashford because they were trying to put Garnacho ahead of him. And now all of a sudden, because Garnacho has shown what he's really about, fans are now backtracking. But the whole thing was, Rashford was Martial, Pogba, Sancho, Jesse Lingard were the scapegoats for Marcus Rashford. Then Rashford became the scapegoat for Garnacho. Paul Pogba was the scapegoat for Bruno Fernandes. So again, this is just not true. Who's the scapegoat now for players like Bruno? Amad Diallo. There's even fans getting onto Kobe Minu. Joshua Zirks is another one. These guys are the scapegoats for him. And as I keep saying, yeah, if we want to get better out of these players that are the future, because Bruno's not the future, we have to move Bruno Fernandes on. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. If fans think that Bruno staying another season, yeah, is going to be beneficial to other players, especially if we go and buy midfielders, then I'm sorry, man, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm telling you. There's a reason why Ahmad's not doing what he's doing. I've said this already. Ahmad needs to be playing more central, getting more involved in the game. But as long as Ahmad is playing second fiddle and not allowing himself to shine, because Ahmad is a good player, he's a top player. But at the moment, he's not really producing that because he spent the majority of his career, you know, going up and down. And then when he gets the ball, he's probably tired. People don't factor these things in. I'm telling you, man, if you want to get better out of Ahmad, if you want Xerxes to shine, you know, if you want Kobe to shine, it's going to mean Bruno Fernandes going. People don't want to hear it, but I'm telling you now, Bruno needs to be moved on. And I ain't going to change my mind on that either. Yeah. Let's go through it. Yeah, Emmanuel, this is if you're still watching, Emmanuel, yeah, this is low level, yeah. And I'll tell you why it's low level. So Emmanuel says, then why doesn't Rice, who takes Arsenal set pieces, doesn't have the same assists as Bruno? How do I attack this one? Yeah, because this is just nonsense, by the way. So you're saying Rice, who takes the set pieces, doesn't have the same assists as Bruno. How do I attack this? Why are we even talking about Declan Rice in comparison with Bruno's goals? Like, Declan Rice has never been noted for goals. It's never been noted for goals. So you're saying because Bruno gets assists from set pieces, Declan Rice should be getting the same. I don't really know how to attack this. It doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. We're talking about two average players here anyway, Rice and Bruno. Like, what are we doing here? All right, that's an odd one. That makes sense to me. I just want Bruno to make up his mind so we can focus on bringing in new players. But you know what? Yeah, the very fact here that there's fans out there that are happy with Bruno to take his time and decide. That just shows you what's really going on. Doesn't that show you much that this is Bruno Fernandes' club rather than it being Manchester United? How can a player like that has arguably won nothing since he's come to the club, dictate on what he's going to do? He's got 1 year left on his contract, 2027, yeah? And he's got a release clause that is active in the summer. Why should we be waiting for him to be making up his mind? He is not Lionel Messi. He is not Neymar. He is not Pedri. He's not Yamal. He's not Benzema. He's not Hazard. He's not Ronaldinho, Zidane, Pele, Maradona, Bergkamp. He's not that type of player. He's just Bruno Fernandes that gets numbers to the detriment of the team. So what do you mean we have to wait for him to make up his mind? Crazy, man. Crazy. And that just shows you how low the level is at Man United, that you've got a player like that, really, that's holding the club to ransom. I wouldn't even be that annoyed if it was Messi. Even though I don't think there's no player that should be doing that, yeah. But if Messi's making up his mind, you'd be like, yeah, it's Messi. This is Bruno Fernandes. Like, what do you mean that he's making up his mind? He's going to be 32 next season. He's on 300 grand a week. Since he's been at the club, we won no trophy of note. Why the hell are we keeping Bruno Fernandes? Move him on. Let other players thrive. He assisted Sesko to be Arsenal too. Well, that's not true, because Sesko didn't score against Arsenal. Sesko didn't score against Arsenal. The scores against Arsenal was Embuemo, Dorgu, and Cunha. So that's not true. That's just been made up. That's just been made up. When did he assist Sesko? There was 3 goals in the game. And again, they had the cheek to give Bruno the assist for Dorgu. Go and watch the assists. Go and watch how the ball was bobbling before Dorgu struck it. And again, these are not real assists. This is the point. This is the point. So now, according to this guy, the majority of the fan base is wrong to say he's our best player. Emmanuel, I couldn't give a toss what the fan base think. The fan base don't speak for me. If the fan base rate Bruno Fernandes, that's up to them. Why would I care about that? I like my opinion, and my opinion is just not based off of just talking for the sake of it. I base my opinion off what the media or what certain fans don't want to draw onto. So if you want to think that Bruno Fernandes is Man United's best player, that probably just tells you why we've been in the state that we are on the pitch. Because if you've got a player like that, that's your best player, you know, and we finished what, 16th, 17th last season, lost the Europa League final with him playing. Is there any surprise why we've been struggling the way we have been? Ask yourself that question. Bruno is such a scrub. He's in the category of charisma. He's in the category of charisma, Payet, James Rodriguez, good players who are good at one thing, but are incompetent in a system that will win anything. Again, I disagree, yeah, because you cannot put Bruno Fernandes in the conversation with charisma, Payet, and James Rodriguez. For a start, all 3 of them players are more naturally talented than Bruno Fernandes. Bruno just gets better numbers than them. That's all it is. He gets better numbers. But you have to ask yourself the question, why is it that he's getting better numbers? Is it because he's just that good? Or is it because that the majority of what he does is based around set pieces? Yeah? So we have to ask. You know, Charisma, Payet, and James Rodriguez, he's not in a category of them kind of players. And that just shows you how low the level is, because to say that Bruno's in the category of them players, or people might say Bruno is better than them players, just shows you how low football is now. Because he's not the level of a Charisma, Payet, or James Rodriguez. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. I know you guys hate Bruno because he's not your ideal baller, which is fine. But if you guys want him out, we should appoint a tactician, for example, Nagelsmann, who will platform a system for the players. Again, I don't hate Bruno. It's not about hating Bruno, yeah. It's just talking about the myth that's been built around this player. That's all it is, really. Because there's a lot of fans out there that think Bruno is the best since Eric Cantona. Some of the nonsense I've been hearing, you know what I mean? And he's just not that. He's a player that is the beneficiary of what others are doing behind him. Because when people say Bruno is a number 10, which he's not, yeah. When Bruno first came to the club, I had an issue with Bruno when he first came to the club. Because if you actually watch what happened, yeah, he was getting numbers to the detriment of the team, because he was more interested, yeah, in just going forward, leaving gaps in midfield to go and get numbers. And again, fans wanted a new number 10 because you had Jesse Lingard playing there. And again, Lingard was good, but again, he was another player that was used as a scapegoat. And then because Bruno came in more or less to replace what Lingard was doing, and he started getting numbers, fans didn't care about the amount of gaps that he was leaving in midfield, because it was all about, oh, this is a new guy to kind of put Paul Pogba in his place. I've heard comments like that before, you know, and because he got numbers, fans that just look at numbers as the be all and end all started thinking that this guy, you know, was the, you know what I mean? They started thinking he was God when he came in. That's all what happened. Do you know what I mean? So Again, I don't really want Nagelsmann, to be honest with you. I don't want Nagelsmann. I don't want none of them Nagelsmanns or the Amorims of this world. Do you know what I mean? I've made it very clear on what I want for Manchester United, yeah, in terms of management. You know, Enrique, Zidane, even a Xavi. You know, Xavi's a proper coach, and Carrick. I think Carrick's done a good job, and I like to see what he does when he has his type of players. But I don't really want the Nagelsmann. But I do hear it. I do hear it. But I don't really want Nagelsmann here personally. Bruno does give the ball away quite a bit. Yeah, he does. He does. And you know another thing I'm gonna pick out as well. Yeah. So Nehemiah, that's his name. Yeah, said you are concerned about a 10 losing the ball. You know why this is key? Yeah, because the very fact here that someone had the cheek to tell me that I'm concerned about a number 10 losing the ball just shows you where football's gone. It either shows you where football's gone or that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Because when has it ever been acceptable for a player to lose the ball? I've never seen it. 30 plus years of watching football, I've never seen it acceptable for a player to lose the ball. It's unheard of, especially a player that is meant to be a supposed number 10 in the system. Why is it acceptable for a number 10 to lose the ball? Someone let me know why it's acceptable for a number 10 to lose the ball. Go and look at all the greats. Pablo Aimar, Juan Roman Riquelme, Ronaldinho, Zidane, Totti, Bergkamp, Del Piero, Di Canio, Ozil. There's players I'm missing as well, forgotten about. Go and look at how many times them guys gave the ball away and tell me that it's acceptable for a number 10 supposedly to be given the ball away. I've never heard such nonsense in my life. Joke. Absolute joke, man. If we keep Carrick, I'll still be Bruno FC because no one has creative muscle in their body and everything goes through him. And again, this is a troll because the fact that you're even coming on there saying you're Bruno FC, it means that you care more about Bruno than Man United. Like it's just nonsense, really. You know what I mean? You're coming on there saying you're Bruno FC, so you care about Bruno than Man United, more about Bruno than Man United. And then when Bruno goes, you can bounce with him as well, because to come on here and say that is an absolute joke, man. You know what I mean? Why would they pile on Bruno? The point of Bruno is to keep going and creating. It's fine to dislike Bruno, but blaming that Asula goal on Bruno is just dumb. Now, listen, I'll tell you what's dumb, yeah? It's dumb the way that you're choosing to view this. That's what's dumb. Because the fact that you're saying Bruno is to keep going and creating, like, for a start, that makes no sense, yeah? And you're disregarding the fact that he's the one that instigated himself, that instigated the team and giving the ball away. Rather than focus on Bruno going and creating, how about he keeps the ball? Why don't you look at him keeping the ball? Because if Bruno kept the ball, that goal doesn't happen. That's the fact. Because Man United had committed their players forward, playing against 10 men. He gives the ball away like he always does. And then Newcastle go on the counter and score. And let's not forget, yeah, the goal that was scored by Osula, you know, is a strike that he's probably not going to hit again. But have a look at who gave the ball away. You can deny it all you want and ignore it, yeah? But the facts are, he's the one that instigated giving the ball away. So to say he's going to keep going and creating, yeah, it doesn't make sense, man. Doesn't make sense. As I said, go and show me a number 10, yeah, that consistently gives the ball away. I've never heard such nonsense in my life. You think a number 10's on the pitch, you just turn the ball over. There's a reason why they're the number 10. They knit the midfield and the attack together. But the new age of midfielders that we're seeing right now are not great on the ball. You know, Bruno needs space. That's what he needs, space, yeah, to make himself know his surroundings in a sense. He can't play in tight spaces because he hasn't got the feet for that. Madness. Right, let me go through and then we'll go through some more of the other things. I don't even know why we are chatting about Bruno when he's the least of our problems. Listen, if you think he's the least of our problems, then that's something that you've got to deal with. I'll tell you this now. In terms of on the pitch, he's one of our biggest problems, but you people don't want to hear it. He's one of our biggest problems. I've said this for years. I couldn't care about the numbers. Yeah, he's one of our biggest problems. You remove a player like that, you watch how 4 other players that we've got already will come to the fore. That can't happen when you've got someone like that that just dominates everything. When you are creating chances, you risk losing the ball. Again, it's the way he loses the ball. Creating chances, you do run the risk. Go and have a look at how he loses the ball. A lot of the time he loses the ball is because he's spamming it into areas. This is the problem. That's the problem. What's Bruno done in the Champions League? Nothing. What's the highest finish in the Ballon d'Or? Nowhere. But again, big up to for N7G. But it's for me, it's not even about what Bruno and the Ballon d'Or. Players like that shouldn't win the Ballon d'Or. But a lot of fans would have you believe, yeah, that Bruno Fernandes, is the best thing since sliced bread, man, coming to Manchester United. And you have to ask yourself the question, why is that? What is it that fans think Bruno is doing where he gets a pass? You know what I mean? I realized Bruno isn't the player I thought he was after we finished 15th. Big up to Titanium. Listen, if it took you a bit of time to realize Bruno wasn't that player, I told you he was. I could tell he wasn't that player from when he first arrived, because fans got excited because he was getting numbers. But if you're actually watching the game, you'd realize that he was leaving the midfield empty to get numbers, because people only look at numbers as a way of dispelling the myth that you're having a good performance. That's what was happening. But just go and have a look at what he was doing when he first came. He might look good because he's getting numbers and the team are looking a lot better in their eyes, but there was always problems ahead. Always problems ahead with him. I want us to sell Bruno, bring in Anderson, Baleba, and Rogers. Yeah, Morgan Rogers is not going to happen. Yeah. Anderson for me is going to go Man City. As I said to you already, we need to be bringing in Camavinga, Baleba, Tonali. They're the 3 that I'd want personally. I've kept consistent on that. But obviously I'm hearing some news today that Tonali might not happen. I don't know, but as I said, Baleba, Camavinga, Tonali for me, they're the 3 that we need to be aiming for. I've heard like João Gomez. João Gomez is a good player as well, but I just don't know why we're not looking at the Camavinga one. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in it. But Anderson's a good player, but I'd prefer Tonali over Anderson personally. So Anderson is the leading player for losing the ball in the Prem, yet Bruno is a problem. What do you think Anderson will do? Again, I don't know if that's even true. Yeah. And again, I'm telling you this now, Karen. Yeah. I know that's not true. I know he's not the leading player for losing the ball. You just made that up. I know it's not true. I just know it's not true. Yeah. You listen, you can pull the wool over other people's eyes, man, but not me. I know that's not true. And again, if Anderson was the leading player for losing the ball, that's poor. But I know I know that quote is fake, by the way, anyway. So let's just move on. Let's just move on. So where are these questions from? So Yeah, no, it's just comments back onto the video that I've done before. Bruno is probably our best player, but you need to build a full team, not just rely on one player. Again, nonsense. Nonsense. Why is it, yeah, that it's Bruno's the best player and we've got to build a team? Why is it always that? Why is it always that? How about we just remove Bruno and build a proper team? How about that? Yeah. And again, this best player, how are you deeming he's the best player? That's what I'd like to know. Because you can only draw on GA. And as I keep saying, some of the best players to ever play the game don't have great GA. So if you're saying he's the best player, please let me know what that is based off. Again, Bruno Fernandes is a stat padding machine who's purely built up on PR. Exactly. And this is why, yeah, I'm never going to be swayed because someone stat pads. Because for you to stat pad, it means you're being the beneficiary off of what else is going around in the team. That's all it is. Exactly. He takes everything. That's my point. Every free kick, more or less, every penalty, every corner. Are we surprised why he has good numbers? It shouldn't be a surprise. Bruno is your best player. You just want to get proven right of your negative criticism. Mamba, again, I don't need to get proven right. I don't need to get proven right. I know I am right. That's the difference. Because I don't just chat for the sake of it. If you think he's our best player, like you're the same person that tried to say that you guys were going to win the Carabao Cup as well. You've also said a lot of stuff. So again, man, like I think you should just be careful with your words, man, because you have been proven wrong on a lot of these things, you know. So if you think Bruno's our best player, the likelihood is that you're just getting that from elsewhere, man. It is what it is. Xerxes or Ahmad would be thriving in that Bruno role. Again, Xerxes and Ahmad, yeah, they won't get the numbers that Bruno gets, but what they will do, yeah, is provide a cohesive front line with them playing in it. And why is that? Because these guys will be more interested in linking up with the striker, yeah, or just linking the midfield and attack together. If you watch Bruno's game, yeah, Bruno's game is all about what he can do to make himself look better. That's what he does. So again, if we want Xerxes and Ahmad to thrive, the likes of Bruno have to be moved on. If you're a fan that doesn't rate Xerxes and Ahmad, then again, that's down to you, innit? But I'd much rather have footballers, you know, in the team thriving than having a guy that wants to dominate everything and literally he's not part of the long term. But fans have just bought into him. Who would you get as a Bruno replacement? Again, you don't have to get a replacement for Bruno. You don't have to get a replacement for Bruno. What does Bruno do? Yeah. What does Bruno do that puts him ahead of others? In terms of GA, which really ain't even that great, that's the only thing people can point to. We need to strengthen that midfield, and then we use the players that we've got already, i.e. Ahmad, Xerxes, Cunha, Kobe Mainu, that can play as a number 10. That's what people don't want to listen to. Bruno is overrated, but he is playing better than last season. Again, I don't even think he's playing better than last season. What's happened since Carrick's came into the club, yeah? Carrick has set the team up in a certain way. Defensively, we're better. And what Bruno has done, Bruno's just playing a bit more conservative, I would say. Since Carrick came in the first couple of games, Bruno kept the ball simple and he looked a lot better for it. Yeah. But if you actually check the games, yeah, watch the games properly, yeah, Bruno hasn't really played any different to what he's been doing. He's still putting in average performances, but he gets away with it because He's on every set piece. People don't want to deep this. You take him off set pieces, yeah, and you realize just how average his game is. His best game that he's played for United, yeah, was the game against Man City. He was actually good. As I said, the weight of his pass for Mbeumo's goal was very good, you know. But again, he's not really playing any different for me from what I'm seeing. It's just that he's been a bit more disciplined under Carrick. But as you can see, he's reverted back to type in terms of spamming balls. And Bruno has always got his get out of jail card because he's on set pieces. That's the difference. Right, this is probably one of the worst comments I've seen, yeah? Better numbers equals better players. Talent is all potential. Football is a results business, so talent doesn't mean anything if you can't get results. Again, no one mentioned talent, by the way, yeah? So I don't know. I think this is just talk for talking's sake. No one mentioned talent, yeah? And if you're saying better numbers equal better players, yeah? Okay, I'm glad you said that, yeah? Go and have a look at Zidane's numbers. Go and have a look at Iniesta's numbers. Go and have a look at Ronaldinho's numbers. And then come back and talk to me. Because Bruno has better numbers than all of them. Are you now saying that Bruno's a better player than them three? Exactly. It's nonsense. It's just talking for talking's sake. How can better numbers equal better players? Makes no sense. Erling Haaland's going to finish with with better numbers than R9. Are we going to start saying Erling Haaland's better than R9? What are you talking about? San Devil, one of the worst comments I've seen. One of the worst comments I've seen. Right, let's just go through some more before we move it on. Big up to Clock Enders. Big up, man. Lots more rumors around Skelly again today. Seriously hope that one doesn't happen. Hey, listen, if we want Skelly, man, we'll take him. It's just that simple, Clock Enders. You know, we took your home record by beating you guys 3-2. You know, Manchester just dominating London at the moment, man. It has to be said. We took your home record, beat you guys 3-2. You know, City beat you guys in the Carabao. You know, and we might just go and take Lewis Skelly along with what we did with Van Persie, Aiden Heaven, Chido Obi. It's that simple, man. Big up, though. San Devil says this channel doesn't know shit. You're trying to rage baiting yourself into being relevant in the fan base. Again, San Devil, yeah. This whole rage baiting rubbish that I've been hearing recently, yeah. You have to understand, yeah, because you look about 12, by the way, yeah. I don't do this rage baiting crap. Like I'm not from that era. I'm from the era of proper football, yeah, and proper footballing talk. I don't need to rage bait anyone. If people don't agree with my opinion, it is what it is. But you're not gonna convince me, yeah, because I've got a background in football. You're not gonna convince me to agree with stuff that I don't agree with. It's just that simple. Like, and if you don't think the channel doesn't know shit, why are you here? You know me. I don't know who you are. That's the difference. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, think what you want to think. If you think Bruno and if you think numbers equals better players, it kind of tells me that you haven't really seen football and you must be about 15. And that's the only way that I can judge that. Because to say better numbers equals better players, you haven't seen football properly. Because some of the best players in the world or to ever play the game didn't have serious numbers like what's happening right now. It's just that simple, man. So again, if you don't want to be here, you can bounce, man. It's that simple. Don't worry, we're gonna bring up the stats in a minute, yeah. And you know what? This is probably one of the most sensible comments I've seen. Yeah, big up to Owen Nino. Yeah, Bruno is just a good player, nothing more than that. And that is literally what it is. If people were saying, you know what, he's just a good player, then I would think, do you know what? Fair. That's fair, yeah. But the way this player gets talked about and when they're trying to compare him to other players is what the issue is. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Guys, before I get back onto your comments, yeah, I'm just gonna read through a few more of the other responses to my video, and then I'll go into the numbers, yeah. So Michael Dos Santos says Bruno has every right to feel like United did him dirty. End of last season, and he still stayed. So Man United now are doing Bruno dirty. What? By giving him 300 grand a week, by giving him the armband, by letting him have the reins of Old Trafford. That's doing him dirty, yeah? Like, some people just don't want to admit fault, man. At the end of the day, since Bruno's become captain of the club, we have recorded our lowest ever finish of 17th. It's the facts. Whether people like it or not, you know what I mean? Bear me 1 minute, guys. What's this? Right. Hawk Twanzebe. Hawk Twanzebe. I hope you're related to Axel, by the way, yeah? Says shambolic fan base trying to sell our best player. Yeah. Our best player, yeah? Okay. Our best player. Anyway, before I go back onto your comments, guys, make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you're subbing to the channel. And make sure you're sharing the channel as well. Let me go through the rest of the comments and I'm going to put up the numbers. So Bruno is the top player. Numbers don't lie. Numbers do lie. They do. They do. I'll tell you why they lie, yeah? Because when Sky Sports are telling you he's got 16 assists, yes, it looks good to the average person, yeah? But go and have a check out how many of them from open play. As I keep saying, man, don't listen to what Sky Sports are saying because they're trying to do you a disservice. When they're saying he's 16 assists, it's like, oh, Bruno's got 16 assists. He's got 7 from open play. He's 1 behind Ryan Cherky, who's got 8. Yeah. And then you go back to, are a lot of these real assists? No. Then you go back to, okay, why is Bruno getting a lot of these assists? Because he's on set pieces. Simple as. So yeah, sell Bruno in the summer, man. 100%. Sell him. What's the point of doing a live if you're scared to engage? There ain't no scared to engage, man. If you want to jump on and have a conversation, then by all means, there's no scared to be engaged. Oh, look, Kevin's back. Kevin's back with that stupid hat on his head. Ah, Kevin, man, where have you been? I knew you'd come back. Look at this fool recommended all the black players. I see a pattern. Yeah, listen, Kevin, man, we see the pattern and we see what you're on, Kevin. Don't worry, man. We all see it. We all see it, Kevin, man. Don't worry about that. We all see that. We all see the tricks, man. Bruno is the best player in the league. Listen, if Bruno's the best player in the league's shit. Are we surprised why the league's shit? Oh, come on, man. Kevin, do better, man. Do better. Yeah, big up to Miss Bunny. Kevin, lay off the crack. That's a wild statement. Yeah, Kevin, man, lay off the crack and take off that stupid hat that you got on as well, man. What a loser. You know what I mean? What a loser. Let's go through this. Just gonna scroll through the you think Bruno had a better team than any of those players? Oh, man. It depends on what you rate a player on. For me, I'm more eye test over stats. But again, eye test should be the one that should be based over stats. Put it this way, yeah. Any person that tries to debate a player over stats, it usually means they're not that good. Because whenever you talk about the best players, the Zidanes, the Ronaldinhos, the Messis, the Neymars, the Hazards, the Gareth Bales, you know, who else is there? All the best players, the Bergkamps, best players to play the game, yeah? You always talk about the quality first, the Modric, the Iniestas, the Busquets. It's quality first, not numbers. The Bruno Fernandes fans will only bring to the table numbers first because they cannot tell you what good performances he puts in. This is the problem. What's your opinion on Anderson and Tonali debate? My opinion, it's not really an opinion, man. They're two very good players. If I had my preference, it'd be Tonali. And the thing is, I do like Anderson, but Tonali would be my preference. My midfield would be Camavinga, Tonali, and Carlos Baleba. That's my preference. Bruno is the best player at United. Simple. You might not like it, but numbers don't lie. Take his numbers of assists away and see where your team would be. It's a case of when he's gone, you miss. Do you know what I've noticed here? The pattern I've noticed here is that all the people that say Bruno's the best player, a lot of them don't have pictures. So, yeah, they're bots, man. I ain't taking them seriously. Let's move on from that. I'll throw a spanner in the works and say individual player numbers aren't always a true representation of team results. Big up to GV. Big up to GV. There you go. But listen, they don't want to hear it, man. It's just that. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. But yeah, exactly. Like again, people think yeah, because I have a different opinion, I'm rage baiting. This is what's funny. This is what football's become now. You have a different opinion to the masses, yeah, and people think you're rage baiting. It's mad. It's mad. Like, again, I'm not from the era of rage baiting. Like, if you want to rate a player and I don't rate him, it's just that simple. I couldn't give a damn if you rate him or not. If I don't rate him, you're not going to change my mind. It's just that simple. So who's going to win the league, Gav? Admit you were wrong, big man. Man City will win the league, Kevin. Man City will win the league, yeah? They'll win the league. And listen, let's see if your guy Bruno Fernandes stays or not. If he leaves, you should fuck off with him as well, by the way. You know, if he stays, then listen, if he stays, then I think in the long run it's gonna be a waste of time. So it is what it is, man. But yeah, I'm saying Man City still. I'm saying Man City still. But you seem like you want to be proven right with Arsenal, which is odd because you're supposed to be a Man United fan. Or no, sorry, I'll take that back. You're a Bruno fan. So listen, when you get people, yeah, that try to come on there and start, trying to get rude, it means they've lost the argument. That's all it means, and it means that what we're saying is hitting them, and they can't deal with it. That's all it does, really. After Bruno, would you replace him with a 10 or go 3 in the middle? These are the kind of questions that I like. Big up to Yossi Mite Sam 6218. Yeah. So again, we don't actually need to go and buy a 10. We don't. We've got 4 players in Ahmad, Xerxes, Cunha, and Kobe Manu that can all play that position. And again, if we don't want to play a 10, we go and buy 3 midfielders and play a 4-3-3. This is what I'm trying to tell you, yeah? This Bruno Fernandes is not really needed. It's not. Because I'd much rather us go and revamp that midfield, yeah, and use the players that we've got already, and sort them and just sort the team out. And if you get rid of a Bruno Fernandes and remove his wage, we're going to have more money to spend, yeah, and we'll be better off for it as well. I'm telling you. So anyone that thinks Bruno needs to stay, so that means you'd prefer Bruno to stay if it means, the other players not shining, because you're more interested in Bruno Fernandes than you are players. But guys, anyway, I'm going to put up the numbers. Yeah. So let's go through Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Let's go through Bruno Fernandes and the numbers, because I know people like to get carried away with his numbers, but let's go through them. So obviously Bruno arrived in the 2019-2020 season. So that was basically the season after United won the Europa League. Yeah. So we've got goals, assists, penalties, free kicks, set piece assist. Yeah. So his first season. So for all these numbers that Bruno is good at, yeah, it just kind of shows you really that the numbers are not really mind-boggling, really, when you think about it. Yeah. So let's go through it. So 2019 and the 2020 season, Bruno gets 8 goals, 7 assists, with 4 of them being penalties and 1 free kick. So again, he's been the penalty taker. You take off his penalties, yeah, he's got 4 goals in 2019-2020 season. He's got 4 goals from open play if we're minusing off the penalties. And the reason I'm mentioning this, yeah, is because if we just look at the amount of penalties and free kicks or set pieces, they play a big factor into his numbers. And again, people are going to start saying, but he still has to score them, or he still has to deliver, or whatever it is. The point I'm making to you, yeah, when you've got a player that takes literally every set piece, we shouldn't be surprised why his numbers look good. That is a difference, yeah. So 2019-2020 season, 8 goals, 7 assists, 4 from penalties, 1 from a direct free kick, yeah. So take the penalties off. He's got 4 goals from open play. 2021 season, yeah. People would say this was his standout season, yeah. 18 goals, 12 assists, 9 penalties. So there's 9 penalties in there in the Premier League, yeah. You take off his 9 penalties, yeah, he's got 9 league goals. Now, the reason why this is interesting, yeah, and this is where I'm trying to tell people that, you see with Bruno Fernandes, yeah, Bruno Fernandes is very much about himself, yeah, and I'll tell you why that is. Because, do you remember the season, the 2020-21 season, yeah, where he got the 9 penalties? I believe that was the season when Anthony Martial, yeah, had 17 league goals, I believe, or something like that, yeah. And if you look at the list, and I remember talking about it at the time, yeah, Anthony Martial could have won Golden Boot, yeah, had he have been given the penalties, the amount of penalties that Bruno Fernandes was given. Now, if Bruno was this so-called team player, yeah, everyone knows, yeah, you know, your strikers really should be taking the penalties if it means increasing their total. You go and have a look at all the strikers in the league that beat Anthony Martial to the Golden Boot, the likes of Harry Kane, Jamie Vardy, and I think there might have been someone else. Yeah. How comes Martial was the only guy that didn't take the penalties? I think Martial might have taken one penalty, and that was in the Europa or Champions League. I can't remember. But to think that Bruno took 9 penalties, yeah, you mean to tell me that he couldn't even give Martial at least 5? And that tells you all you need to know, yeah? He's not giving Martial the penalties because he knows for him to stay relevant with the fan base, it's about numbers. Because any supposed number 10 would give it to your striker, especially someone like Anthony Martial, who doesn't get good press anyway. Yeah. You give Martial the penalties, let him win his Golden Boot. There's the media and the pundits can't chat rubbish about Martial, because we know Martial's a top footballer, but he was looked at more for his body language and his attitude, fans would say, yeah. But Bruno gets 9 penalties in that season to make it 18, when really and truly, if he was this so-called team player, why didn't you not give the penalties to Martial? Ask yourself that question. 12 assists, yeah. Again, how many of them were real assists, by the way? How many of them were real assists? Just asking. Then we go on to the 21-22 season. And I believe that was the season where Cristiano Ronaldo came to the club. Now, again, yeah, people don't want to look at this. Bruno's numbers went to 10 GA and 6 assists. No penalties, no free kicks, no set piece assists. Now, you know why this is key, yeah? And this will tell everyone that when people decide to start talking up Bruno's numbers, yeah, how comes all of a sudden his numbers drop from 18 and 12 to 10 and 6? I'll tell you why. Cristiano Ronaldo. So when Ronaldo came to the club, who took the penalties? Ronaldo. Who was on the free kicks? A lot more. Ronaldo. Who hogged the goals? Ronaldo. To the detriment, yeah, of other players. And then fans will tell you Ronaldo got 18 goals in one Premier League season. It looks all good. Yeah. But they don't tell you that 18 of his goals come across 10 games. They don't tell you that. Because it's narratives, media narratives that are trying to be pushed to ignore the obvious. Yeah. So Bruno got 10 goals, 6 GA. 10 goals and 6 assists. For someone that's talked about the way he is, not looking too good, is it? The following season, 8 goals, 8 assists. 2 of them were penalties. Take the penalties off, he's on 6 goals. Following season, 10 GA, 8 assists, 4 penalties. Take the penalties off, he's got 6 goals. Again, 24-25 season, 18 goals, 10 assists, 3 penalties, 2 free kicks, 3 set piece assists. Yeah. Again, how many of them assists are real assists? Debatable. Is 3 penalties in there? 2 from direct free kicks. You'd probably look at that and say, along with the 2021 season, is probably his best season. But again, if we was to start doing, you know, the analysis on it properly, you'd probably find that a lot of those numbers there are not really true numbers. Yeah. And the reason I'm doing this, guys, yeah, is because the only reason Bruno gets hyped to a level is because of numbers. Because I know for a fact his performances are nowhere near the level of what many fans think it is. Yeah. And then you look at this season so far, 8 goals, 16 assists, 4 penalties, 3 free kicks, 9 set-piece assists. Now, the reason why this is key, yeah, is because this shows you how poor the league is. Because a lot of the goals that have been scored this season have been set-piece. A lot of teams are adopting this set-piece module, yeah, like Arsenal are doing. And he's got 9 of them, Bruno. Yeah? He's got 3 free kicks, 4 penalties. Again, take the penalties off. He's got 4 league goals. Yeah? We've already mentioned that the 16 assists that he has, 7 of them are from open play, which places him 1 below Ryan Cherky. Yeah? Not to mention, I can probably count 4 that are actual assists. The Benjamin Sesko one at Burnley, the Brian Mbeumo one against Man City, the Matthias Cunha one against Aston Villa, and there might be another one. So I'm actually counting real assists. From what I remember, he's got 3 or 4 real assists. That's Bruno Fernandes' numbers, guys, by the way. 8, 18, 10, 8, 10, 18, 8 league goals. Yeah, which, to be honest with you, ain't that great in comparison for the way he's judged. 7, 12, 6, 8, 8, 10, 16. Again, if we're doing the real research, how many of them are real assists? Not looking that great. 4, 9, 2, 4, 3, 4 penalties in there. 1 free kick. This guy's meant to be somewhat of a free kick expert. So over his 2, 4, 6, 7 years, he's got 7 direct free kicks in 7 years. But we're hearing he's a free kick expert, by the way. Free kick expert. That's the numbers, guys, that people don't want to speak about, because he's got massive PR. Fans are just sucking him off every chance they get. And yeah, it's just mad. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's move on. And we're going to compare him, yeah, with one of my greats, one of my all-time greats. And fans had the cheek to try and tell us that he's in comparison with this guy, Eric Cantona. Now, what this reads, yeah, what this reads is all I need to know. Bruno Fernandes has surpassed Eric Cantona in terms of numbers. Are we now going to start saying that Bruno Fernandes is better than Eric Cantona? I hope not. Yeah, I hope not. Eric Cantona had 185 appearances for Man United, 82 goals, 62 assists. Bruno Fernandes, 321 appearances, 106 goals, 101 assists. Not to mention, yeah, Eric Cantona didn't take the free kicks. He took the occasional penalties, but I think he shared it with Dennis Irwin. Yeah. Bruno Fernandes has only been, out of all those appearances, he's only not been on the penalties. Let's go back to when Ronaldo came, 21-22 season. So there was 0 penalties in the league. Okay. So he's been without 1 season where he wasn't the regular penalty taker. Yeah. Are we now going to start saying, yeah, that Bruno Fernandes is better than Eric Cantona because he's got better numbers? Is that what we're really going to start saying? Or are we just going to start being real and start calling this nonsense out? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Minutes per goal. Cantona, 141 minutes per goal. Bruno Fernandes, 148 minutes per goal. I'll read it again. 141 minutes per goal for Cantona, 148 minutes per goal for Bruno. And Bruno's played 321 games, 106 goals, 101 assists. Yeah? 4 Premier League titles for Eric Cantona, 2 FA Cups. I'm not even going to count the Community Shield because we all know they are glorified friendlies. Forget that. 4 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups. And I believe one of the Premier Leagues that Cantona actually won, yeah, was when it was the class of 98 with Beckham, Scholes, the Neville brothers, and who was the other one? Beckham's, and was it Giggs and Sharp just come in the first team? And he won a Premier League where, remember, they were saying you can't win it with kids. Yeah? One of them Premier Leagues that Cantona won was with the kids, by the way. Bruno Fernandes, 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup. But yet we're meant to believe that this guy, from certain fans, is the next coming of Cantona, the best signing since Cantona, the best player, this and that. The guy's got 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup. And yet all we want to do is start blaming others. When are we going to start blaming Bruno Fernandes? Because that Europa League final, where was he? Where was he? Where was he? You know? This is what people don't want to talk about. They want to follow the narrative, yeah, rather than do proper homework and look at it all together. And then you get fans or deluded fans coming on here saying, he's our best player, he's this, he's that. You're doing it for rage bait. You're doing it for clicks. I don't do anything for clicks. I just tell you the truth that the media, pundits, and a lot of fans want to hide behind. That is the truth. And whether you like me or not, I couldn't give a damn. But when I talk, I don't just say things for the sake of it. That's the truth, guys. So look, you've seen it in front of your eyes already. Yeah, I'll put it back on again. Look at Bruno's numbers. They ain't that great in comparison to the hype he gets. Not to mention, are we actually doing a deep dive into these actual assists? We're not. Compare it with Cantona. 2 trophies to show. FA Cup, League Cup. Cantona, 4 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups. 141 minutes per goal. 148 minutes per goal. It's all there, guys. So, yeah. I had to do that one, guys, because we had to dispel this myth that people want to try and run with, you know. And as I said, you can deny it all you want. You can deny it all you want, but the facts are there, you know. The king of Manchester, of course, that's the real king. Eric Cantona was the main reason why I started supporting Manchester United. The main reason. The aura, you know, the class, some of the goals he scored. But yet we're meant to be satisfied because Bruno Fernandes has fooled the fan base. It's what you're up against, unfortunately. It's what you're up against, you know. And I'm just glad, yeah. I'm just glad that there is still some sane people out there that don't get fooled by all this rubbish. You know what I mean? Beck, Scholes, Butt, Neville brothers off the back of selling Hughes, Kanchelskis, Parker, and Ince. And it wasn't a Prem. It was a Prem and an FA Cup double. Big up to Fitz. There you go. There you go. So when people are saying that Bruno hasn't had the team around him, they're just lying to you to try and stoke up Bruno. Because Cantona won a title, yeah, with kids coming into the team after selling experience. So, yeah, listen, the Bruno traders went quite fast. Of course they did. Because these guys don't want to hear the truth. All they want to do, yeah, is spout rubbish. And then when they know they're being exposed, they start trying to get personal or start trying to get rude. This is what people do. The truth hurts. It's meant to. You know what I mean? So, an opinion ruffled the feathers of the fan club, and we have to justify silly comparisons between a football icon versus a good player. Exactly. The very fact here that I'm having to talk about Cantona versus Bruno Fernandes, yeah, or Bruno versus Cantona, is embarrassing in itself, because Eric Cantona didn't have the career at Man United to be compared to a guy that has 1 League Cup and 1 FA Cup. It's embarrassing. Yeah, there you go, clock enders. But Gav, Cantona isn't black. Yeah, that's the one that idiot with the hat on. What's his name? Kev. That's the one he tried to run with. Gav only likes black players. This is what he's trying to run with. You know what I mean? These people are dumb. Doesn't actually realize that one of my favorite players ain't even black. you see what I mean? This is what you're up against. You're up against absolute idiots. Like absolute idiots. Yeah, listen, football's not for everyone, man. And it's definitely not for that fan, for these Bruno fans, you know. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. Guys, make sure we are smashing the likes. Make sure we're subbing to the channel as well. Who will qualify out of Jamaica and Congo? Boy, listen, if Greenwood's there, then yeah, Jamaica are through. Hey, listen, if Greenwood's there, just put Jamaica's name on it right now, man. Because he's due to do a Mazza, I swear to God. So just put his name there. I'm not even a United fan, but people even putting Eric and Bruno in the same sentence is a madness. But listen, them people there are just not, they're not well, man. That's the only thing I can draw to, because anyone that actually watched Eric Cantona's game wouldn't even make that stupid mistake. And as I keep saying to you, yeah, the reason why they're being put in the same conversation is because it's narratives, because he gets numbers. That's why. It's because he gets numbers. These fans don't really care about Manchester United. They don't. They just care about, you know, pitting the Bruno argument against others. That's all it is. Like football's become now, it's about supporting players rather than the club. These people don't care about Man United. They claim to, they don't care. Because as soon as it's about Bruno Fernandes, these guys have got every excuse under the sun. That's all it is. That's all it is, you know. But we have to call them out because, as I said, a lot of these fans try to comment saying to me this and that. And sometimes you got to sit them down, man, you know, when you can be bothered. So, but yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up in a little bit. Keep your questions and comments coming through, as I said. And yeah, wrap it up in about 5 minutes. On a serious note, thoughts on the Greenwood situation? Bring him back to the club. That's my thoughts. Like, I know people are going to have their issues about what happened. This is football. Like, I'm just interested in, if you actually clock it as well, yeah, I don't really talk about the owners and this and that, because for one, that ain't my field. And for two, me talking about the owners is a waste of time, because the reality is, yeah, fans are not able to get the owners out, because if they did, the owners would have been gone long time ago. So it just wasted breath. The only thing that I'm focused on is what we do on the pitch. That's why I purely talk about on the pitch. And Mason Greenwood is going to improve us on the pitch. So anything else other than Mason Greenwood dropping his shoulder, putting it into the top corner, that's all I care about. Because we cannot be turning our nose up at top players when I see Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount on serious money, running around, you know, making a mock of this club. It's that simple. The Zerbi's going Spurs as well. Yeah, it's been agreed. Madness. I'll take him back. His missus did. She even dropped a kid. Bro, this is the funny thing, yeah. That's what all that matters. That's all that matters. But there's too many fans that want to have an opinion on something that, you know, like, is none of their business, really. You know, again, I'm not really going to talk on that because I'm just purely on the football. not on anything else. Let the people that are in those positions deal with that. I'm purely talking about Mason Greenwood, the player. And if we could get him back, listen, it's unlikely, but I'm all for it. You really want that baggage banter. Again, people call it baggage or banter. I mean, you know how football fans are, innit? Football fans can turn out the wind, man. If Greenwood was to come back to the club and smack one in the top corner, these fans will start loving him. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But as I said, man, I'm more interested in in football, and Mason Green was a top player. You know, when I look at left-footed right wingers in the world, there's only three that are at the that are at the elite level, and that is Yamal, Elise, and Greenwood. That's it. You know what I mean? Left-footed right wingers. We're going down, blood. We need a defensive manager to stay up. Ten Hag 5 at the back at Tottenham would go in. Now, listen, I actually think you guys will stay up. You know, I think the Zerbi going there. It's gonna be weird because the way the Zerbi likes to play, you just simply haven't got them players. But he must know something that we don't, because he must feel that he can implement something right now and keep. And the thing is, I do think Tottenham stay up. By the way, I think they'll have just enough, and then we'll see what happens next season. But a lot of the fan base were trying to go for Harry Redknapp, Tim Sherwood, and who's the other one? There was someone else. It's like them guys are dusted, man. Them English managers are finished, man. Let them just relax. You know what I mean? But people will start saying because they know the club and all this. Yeah, forget all that rubbish, man. You know what I mean? Edmundo drove into a load of people and carried on playing. All right, guys, that reminds me, yeah. Make sure you check out my Edmundo, my Great to the Game Edmundo upload as well, which is on my channel. But yeah, Edmundo was a hothead, man. I think it was it Edmundo and Romario were fighting someone in the stand one time. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah, them guys were serious, man. They weren't some people to be messed around with. Yeah, Mamba's just chatting again. Yeah. Mamba, I hope you're here for the energy at the end of the season, man. You know, because you were telling me quadruple, yeah? And then you got quickly humbled with that one, and you're still talking. You don't learn your lesson. A player of his talent will be welcome, but I'll always let my kids know if someone is or isn't someone to look up to in it. Obviously disappointed when he did what he did, but ridiculously talented blower. But Fitz, I'm glad you said this, yeah? I don't really understand when you get fans idolizing footballers like that. It's like, just idolize the player, like in terms of what they're doing on the pitch. That's it. Just keep it like that. But when you get fans that are just invested in players to a level, I've never really understood it. I find it odd. You know what I mean? I just find it odd, man. You can admire what they do on the pitch, man, but just keep it to that. You know what I mean? Wholeheartedly disagree. I think you're mental. You could replace Greenwood. With who? Clock Enders. Who are we going to replace Greenwood? Let me know, man. The Zerbi will fall out with the owners within his first season at Spurs. To be honest with you, maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe him falling out with the owners is what needs to happen to try and get Tottenham to be in a serious club. You never know. But what I would say is that he must know something that we don't, because to come in when they've got what, about 7 or 8 games left to the end of the season, you know, and the confidence is low, they're fighting relegation. Yeah, man, it is a risk, but he must know something. You know what I mean? Guarantee a lot more footballers have done suspect things, but it's been covered up. When you have that much money, you can make things disappear. But again, Miss Bunny, yeah, don't be surprised, man. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on in football. Lot that goes on. As I said, man, I've been in the academy, man, and I've experienced certain things and I've seen certain things. So, as I said, man, it's these things go on, man, and that's at the top level as well. So, Ayub Raymond says, "Are you a Man United fan?" I am. Big up yourself, guys. Make sure we're getting these likes up, and make sure you're subbing to the channel as well if you're new in here. Remember the gigs thing when the name leaked? How many more do you think didn't leak? Yeah, exactly, Fitz. Exactly, man. Like some of the players, yeah, that are deemed as model professionals, yeah, they're some of the dirtiest scumbags on God's green earth. That's what people need to realize. You can idolize the player, yeah, but don't idolize the man, because some of these players, man, are doing madness that people are not even aware of. That's the facts. You know what I mean? And as I said, yeah, and poor Rooney and his grannies. Oh man, yeah, exactly, man. Listen, Wayne Rooney. You know what makes it even worse as well? Yeah, Wayne Rooney's got the cheek to say that Neymar's not a top player after doing what he's been doing. Please, you know what I mean? I don't want to hear no more nonsense, man. No more nonsense. To have the cheek to say Neymar's not a top player when Neymar's better than you is crazy. It is crazy. You know what I mean? Oh, you lot are killing me in this chat, man. Yep. I agree. Great comment. If the machine wants a player to look good, then that's what it will do. I.e., this is why we gave our flowers to a Sir Andrew Cole. Sir Andrew Cole. If you guys didn't see the stream yesterday, you need to go back and check it, man, because you see Andy Cole, criminally disrespected. Sir Andrew, man. Big up. What I would say based on that comment as well, yeah, with if the machine wants a player to look good, then that's what they will do, yeah. What I would say based on that is whenever there's a player that's in the media that is hyped up to a level, don't be surprised where it goes with that player. It usually means that the player they're hyping up ain't as good as what it's made out to be. There's a reason why there's certain players that are chosen, i.e. Jude Bellingham. If you check what's happening with Jude Bellingham right now, yeah, the media and the pundits, yeah, they know he's under fire because they've got Thomas Tuchel, yeah, who's the manager of England, and Thomas Tuchel, to me, seems like a manager that cannot be controlled. Yeah. So the fact that, you know, he doesn't rate Jude Bellingham like that, but again, media pressure is probably making him put him in the squad, etc. Yeah. What the media are doing now, they're trying to do hit pieces on Jude Bellingham to keep his name relevant, because it's all about pushing his name forward so that when that World Cup squad gets announced, his name is front center. That's what's happening. You have to read between the lines on what's really going on here. Yeah. Because the facts are, you know, I believe Thomas Tuchel doesn't rate Jude Bellingham like that. And I believe Thomas Tuchel sees Morgan Rogers ahead of Jude Bellingham. Yeah. But because of the media pressure, he's going to be someone that is going to be still spoken about. But crunch time is going to come when it comes to the World Cup. Because I'm telling you this now, yeah. with what players that England have to choose from, yeah, best believe this, guys, and you've heard it here, 2:47 on Tuesday, yeah, best believe either Jude Bellingham or Phil Foden won't make that squad. Because Tuchel has already said, yeah, that obviously I can't remember word for word, but there's a lot of attacking midfielders and they can't take all of them or something like that, he said, yeah. Now, if you look at the attacking midfielders that might be on the list that are going, yeah, you look at Saka, Cole Palmer, Madueke, who Tuchel likes, Jared Bowen. Obviously, Gibbs White's not even in the squad, so that's one less player. Eze, Rodgers, Bellingham, Gordon, Rashford. Yeah. So that is what? That's 9 players. Yeah. Do you really think Thomas Tuchel is taking 9 attackers like that? So again, the ones for me that are definitely going, yeah, because it's obvious. Saka's definitely going. I believe Cole Palmer's definitely going, even though he hasn't been that great. Morgan Rogers is definitely going. I think Gordon and Rashford both go. That's 5 players, yeah? So that means you are juggling between, if there's one more attacker he might take, because he does like multifunctional players. And I think Jared Bowen will go. And I'll tell you why Jared Bowen goes, is because Jared Bowen will be happy, I believe, to just be part of the squad. That's 6 players. So if you're looking at one possible player going next at the attackers, it's between Madueke, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham. Between those 3. I think one of them 3 will miss out. And again, let's not forget, Thomas Tuchel actually likes Madueke. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. Look at the way the media treated Sterling just over a tattoo. But again, it's because he's not squeaky clean. It's because he's not Harry Kane. No tattoos, family man. This is what it is. Like you can see the narratives that these fans are trying to, that the media are trying to push anyway. You can see what's going on, innit? Yeah, I hear it, man. What? What's this? Isn't Tuchel banging Trent's ex, and that's why he isn't taking him to the World Cup? Where's this come from? Is that's not real, is it? Miss Bunny, put that in the where's the real quotes for this? Is this made up or what? I've never heard this. Tuchel's banging Trent's ex. Well, how old's his ex? Was she 50? 60? Isn't Tuchel banging Trent's ex, and that's why he isn't taking him to the World Cup? Boy, I don't know about that. I've never heard that. Big up to Babs One Diva with a super sticker. Big up yourself. Yeah, I've never heard that, man. I need to see some more on that. Yeah, listen, Fitz. I mean, Clockenders, sorry. You know what, Clockenders, yeah? You're starting to understand now. You're starting to understand the narratives in football, which I'm glad, because you've come a long way, yeah, since those Bukayo Saka comments, when you tried to tell me that Bukayo Saka was top 10 in the world as a player. You've come a long way, my friend, yeah? But you see what you just said here, yeah? Declan Rice is the perfect role model, man. Still with his childhood girl, never out doing madness, etc. Love the man, yeah? Now, again, this is what the media like. This is what the media like, because it's a story, yeah? How do we know, yeah, that Declan Rice ain't in the background doing a madness? How do we know that? Because the media tell you that he's not. For all we know, yeah, Declan Rice could just be doing some of the worst things that players have done. It's just what the media want you to believe. And again, I'm not saying Declan Rice is doing that, yeah, but he's someone, yeah, he can do no wrong. But he's probably doing madness behind closed doors. We just don't know that. Timber and Odegaard back for the cup game. So what? You got Southampton. You should beat them. Yep. Sir Andrew Coleman. Damn right. Damn right. They won't give him his flowers, but we will. Giggs' off-field stats is all about the numbers, like them Bruno fans. Yeah, listen, trust me. These fans will have you believe, yeah, that Paul Pogba is one of the worst human beings ever, yeah. But they'll ignore Ryan Giggs. You see what I mean? Crazy, man. Scousers love a granny, innit? What we doing there? What we doing there, Fitz, man? What we doing? Yeah, guys, come on. Make sure you're smashing the likes as well, man. Big up yourself. Declan. Aye, but Clock Enders, how do you know? How do we know he's not? How do we know this, bro? You know what I mean? No one knows. I'd hope for his sake he's not, but no one knows. Because did I ever think that that Ryan Giggs was doing what he was doing? What John Terry was doing what he was doing? Hell no. But you can't be sure, man. You can't be sure. What's this guy on? What's this guy on, man? Oh, I'm not even gonna read that out, man. How do we know Cantona? All right, Clock Enders, you see for that, yeah? You see for that? This is why you won't win the league, man. Because that stuff there, you know, him upstairs, don't forget about that, yeah? He doesn't forget. If you Google Thomas Tuchel and Iris Law, it comes up with a pitch. What? No way. Let me see this right now. All right, Miss Bunny, man, you're doing your homework. I've never heard this. What? What? Oh, this is mad. This is mad. All right. All right, Thomas Tuchel is a well, I'm about to say he's a criminal, but yeah, I've just seen it. He's on the boat with this girl called Iris Law. Well, how is this Iris Law then? How is this Iris Law? Let me check. Right, so Iris Law is 25. Thomas Tuchel. Wow. Guys, you're going to laugh at this one, yeah? You're gonna laugh at this one, yeah. Whether it's planned or not, I don't know, yeah. But Irish Law is 25, yeah. Thomas Tuchel just reversed the numbers. Reverse the numbers. Wow. Wow. That listen, you learn something every day, man. Irish Law 25, Thomas Tuchel's age. Switch the numbers around and you get your answer. That is crazy. That is crazy. Boy, I didn't know Tuchel was on that. Yeah, man. Trent's done out here then. He's done out here. Yeah, Trent's done out here, man. He's done. I thought Tuchel was older than that. Boy, he's got 30 years on it. That's what I'll tell you. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Boy. Yeah, Trent's done out here, man. He's not getting back here for shit. And you know what makes me laugh, yeah? You're getting the pundits in the media trying to do hit pieces on why Trent's been left out. Just keep it real and just say, look, Thomas is with Iris, man. It's game over for Trent. Let him relax. Watch it on the beach somewhere. You know what I mean? Oh man, I can't believe what I just seen it. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. Thomas Tuchel. Boy, because you know what, yeah? The eye-opener should have been when Ben White got called up ahead of Trent. Now we know why. Not because Ben White deserved to be there, it's because you can't have Trent and you can't have Trent and Tuchel, double T, coming to blows in the England squad. The morale will be done. You know? Won't happen. Didn't Ben White score, Gav? Yeah, he did. But he also gave away the penalty as well, bro. So good try. Yeah, good try, man. Good try. My friend is cancelling plans with the group to watch fucking Arsenal in the Champions League against who? Sporting. Yeah, listen, man. If she's cancelling, if him or her is cancelling plans to go and watch Arsenal, man, just tell them, listen, you can always reverse the ticket, man, because you know it's not gonna be a great game anyway. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, you know what I mean? Who's to say they get past Sporting? You know what I mean? So let them enjoy it, man, because it might be the last time they get as far as that. You know what I mean? Nah, you're taking it too far now, Clockenders, man. I'm not even gonna read that. Trent should just say he can enjoy his leftovers and keep it moving with all them lovely senoritas. Haha. Yeah, but you know what it is though, yeah? Look who's in there. Nehemiah. You missed it, Nehemiah. I called you out, man, earlier from your comments. So now how was to the right, I'm trying to understand this. So how was to the whole cohesive front line when Bruno was injured? Yeah, let's check the spelling, man, before we go on to that, because I don't understand it. Guys, listen, I've already spoken on Bruno Fernandes already. If you've missed it, that's your problem. But the reality is, yeah, the numbers ain't great, you know, based on a lot of things. And it's just that simple. We need to move him on come the end of the season. That is it. Since when are we counting what a technical assist is? Yeah, Devil's unplugged, man. like as I said, man, this is a low level conversation. If you're talking like that now, man, it's long. It's long. If you think Bruno Fernandes is the best thing since sliced bread, then it tells me one or two things: that you haven't probably seen proper footballers, or you just don't understand what the level is. You know. So again, a lot of these assists are not technically assists. It might look good on the eye because it's to simple-minded fans like yourself, but on this channel here, we can't be fooled. So it's just that simple. How was the whole cohesive front line when he was injured? Doesn't make sense, man. How was the whole cohesive front line? Guys, if anyone can understand what Nehemiah has said here, then can you just answer that? Because I don't understand what he means. Right, we're going to wrap it up in a minute anyway. Yeah, big up to Clock Enders, man. Big up. Some mad comments, but nah, big up to yourself each and every time, man. Big up. As I said, we'll be back, man, when next week. Listen, your team's gonna be on notice, man. Your team will be on notice. We'll be here. But big up, man. You said United will have a cohesive front line once Bruno is gone. So that's why I asked. Oh, okay. I understand what you mean now. So when I'm saying, yeah, about a cohesive front line, yeah, if you think of the players that we have in attack, yeah, we have got Joshua Zirkzee and Benjamin Sesko, yeah. Now they're two different profiles. Joshua Zirkzee is a false nine, someone that has a great first touch, great technique. He won't get you loads of goals, but what he can do is bring better out of other players around him because he can link the play. He can also be a target man as well, yeah. And he'll get his fair share of goals and assists equally. So you get rid of Bruno, I believe you get a better Joshua Zirkzee, someone that can play as a 10 as well. Yeah. Then you've got Benjamin Sesko. For me, Sesko is more of a bench option in the sense that he's better when he's up against tired legs because he's got athleticism, he's got good pace, you know, and him and Zirkzee are both different profiles. Sesko's also very good in the air. So again, if you've got two strikers there that have different profiles, it's a positive. Then you move on to Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo is a number 10. But the fact that he's played so much of his career out wide, people now, and I don't blame them, are probably looking at him as someone that is more of a wide player. But he's a natural number 10. And if we want to get better out of Amad Diallo needs to be playing centrally to get him more on the ball. Because when you've got someone of the quality of Amad, he needs to be figuring consistently on the ball. But unfortunately, if you've got Bruno Fernandes that hogs everything, someone like Amad is going to be on the periphery of the game. So again, I want to see Amad central. Again, Brian Mbeumo, I'm not his biggest fan. Yeah. What does he provide? He provides goals. Yeah. So if you want to take away Bruno's goals, yeah, and just replace that with Mbeumo, cool. He's a new signing. I don't rate him that highly, but he's got his strengths in a sense, yeah, to play on the right-hand side. Then you've got Matthias Cunha. Cunha is having to play as a left winger. And to be fair, as of late, he has been adapting quite well. But Cunha's a central player. And if he was to thrive, yeah, again, it means Bruno Fernandes has to be moved on for Cunha to be the maverick and to be looked at as that kind of guy, yeah. If you look at if 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 you look at what's his face? Kobe Minu, yeah? Kobe Minu is better higher up the pitch. He can play slightly deeper, you know, to start getting touches of the ball, you know, dictating the tempo. And Kobe's very good in tight spaces. But I believe Kobe can go to another level, yeah, if he's played in a more advanced role. So again, you've got Xerxes, Sesko, Ahmad, Embuemo, Cunha, Kobe Minu, and if we were to sign an Iliman Njai as well, yeah, you've got players there that can all fill the void once Bruno's gone. Whether you want to look at better play, a cohesive front line, or whether you want to look at collectively, these guys will get more goals than what Bruno is providing. So that is why Bruno, for me, has to be moved on to get better from others. Kevin, man, it's low level, man, what you're coming out with. Cunha's had one good season and that's all. All right, yeah, cool. Right, guys, anyway, we're going to wrap it up. Big up to yourselves for coming on each and every time. Make sure, guys, you smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel if you're new in here as well. We're only, what, 20 away from 2K subs. So again, if you haven't smashed the like button, if you haven't subbed to the channel, then make sure you do. And what's tomorrow? Wednesday. I will be back tomorrow. Keep an eye, obviously. Keep an eye on the notification to see when I go live. If there's any news that drops, then again I'll react to it. And guys, check out all the other content, man. Check out all the other content. There's some good content on there. And yeah, as I said, man, it's a lot of the content now, guys, is in chapters as well. I know who I'm listening to between Pep and Fergie and you, and it's definitely not you. Well, that's good to hear, man. But Nehemiah, as if you're putting me in conversations with Pep and Fergie, then I'll take that, man. That's cool, man. So me, Pep and Fergie, and I think for this week you're choosing to go with Pep and Fergie. That's cool, man. Keep yourself coming through anyway. But guys, on that note, as I said, just check to see when I go live, and we'll definitely be back tomorrow. And again, on Thursday, we're going to be back at 8 p.m. for our all-time 11 stream. Again, if there's anyone that wants to jump onto the stream and with myself and Fitz, it's the Barcelona all-time 11. And again, we are going to do from what the majority have voted. It's the 2008 to 2017. Now, let me tell you now, guys, yeah. You see Barcelona's 96 to 2008 and 2008 to 2017. There is some top players there, man. Top players. And I don't know how we're going to devise, yeah, getting players into this team, because whoever we go for, a bad boy is going to be missed out. So, but yeah, definitely on Thursday, we'll be doing that. And again, if you guys didn't check the tier list I done yesterday, check that out as well. And I'll definitely be doing another one this week. Obviously, I'm going to be doing 2000 to 2010. So yeah, make sure you guys check that out. And as I said, keep your support coming, man. These kind of conversations people don't want to have. The one we had yesterday with Andy Cole is another one. And as long as you know, for myself, I keep spreading awareness to people. I keep spreading awareness to people about certain things that are not getting spoken about. You know, I'm happy with that, man, because as I said, I don't see too many people that want to touch on certain things, innit? You know, but again, for those of you that don't know, I'm a Man United fan, but first and foremost, I'm a football fan. You know, I've got experience in football from playing, from watching, from coaching, and as I said, man, I'm just well versed in football. So again, I'm not saying for you guys to come on here and I'm not saying for you guys to come on here and and to agree with my opinion, because you know it's about having a conversation whether we agree or not. But as I said, I think a lot of people out there, they're being fooled by what the media or by what other fans tell them, because it's just easy to go with the majority opinion. And that's something that I'll never do, you know? But other than that, guys, big up to yourselves for coming through. Smash the like on the way out. Sub to the channel. Check out all the other content as well. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.